obvious first place to start. Things must be a little more comfortable around here after what happened in the week. Is that the case?
Yes, two good results. To come back at Burnley and get a point from 2-0 down, and the performance against Swansea was very good. It was a welcome 3 points, and we need to do that on a more regular basis. Although, as I've said, was it one defeat in 8 games since we've come into the club, but we know how tough it's going to be, and we know there's still a lot of work to be done, especially to get the points that we need to stay in the Premiership.
I mean, you talked the other day about Brown Day needing to score goals, and he's gone and done that again for you. I mean, it's
confidence. It'll be confidence now. Strikers live off that confidence, and he's always been a good lad round the place. He's always worked hard, and his training has been he's been absolutely no problem. So fingers crossed. These goals that he's got in the last couple of games will give him the confidence to push on, because we certainly need the goals to stay in the Premiership.
Although I think you did say that you, with the greatest respect to the players involved, you don't have a huge amount of choice.
No, we don't. Obviously Victor's injured at the moment. I'm not sure whether he'll be available for tomorrow. But you take Victor out of the equation, and it's just the two on the pitch. So it's we're very, very light in that position at the moment.
Darren Fletcher's influence. He's made an immediate impact, would you say?
He's on and off the pitch. He's been very good, and like I said, it wasn't just a signing for the 90 minutes on Saturday. It was a signing to bring someone into the football club who's got good standards, who's been brought up the right way, who's a winner, and you need a few of them in your dressing room. I don't care. You ask any manager up and down the country. It's lovely to have people like that around you.
I know you made a little bit of the fact that your senior pros met you this week. I would have thought that's the sort of thing that would happen routinely. Is that not the case?
No, I've always done it at other clubs where I've spoken to certain individuals, people I think are the solid citizens of the dressing room, and you get a feel from them if things are going well, things are not going so well in certain areas. But generally, if you can build up a good relationship with the senior players, a relationship where they trust you, you trust them, then they hopefully they'll be sorting, if there was any problems in the dressing room, they'd be sorting the problems out before you even knew about it.
So we sort of heard a similar thing with one of your predecessors this time last year, Pepe Mal, although it seemed to have a slightly different slant to it. It sounded like some of the senior pros were sort of forming almost a clique, that there was a difficulty there. What you were saying, is that positive?
I personally, obviously I didn't know what was going on there, and I didn't know what wasn't going on, so it's very difficult for me to comment on that. I've always thought it was very, very important to have a good dressing room, and to have a dressing room that was pushing and pulling together, and I've always tried to maintain that at every club I've been at.
Interesting then, in terms of the FA Cup, it's the usual question, I'm afraid. I know you regard it as very important. You've always said that. In the context of this season, where is it?
Well, in the context of the season, the priority is to stay in the Premiership. But we also want to do well in the cups, and we'll be going flat out tomorrow, as I'm sure Sam will. Sam will know how important this is to West Ham. They're bringing 5,000-6,000 supporters up tomorrow. That's how important it is to that football club. And we've sold, I think, nearly 20,000. We need to sell another 3,000-4,000. Because the last thing we want to do is play a game at the Hawthorns where we've got the away support making more noise than the home support. So fingers crossed. The club have done a deal on the game as well. Fingers crossed we can get close to a full house and make it a real cup atmosphere like it was when we played Birmingham at Birmingham.
Is it odd though that there is a sense that you have to prioritise, and people do, and they have done? This is, after all, the FA Cup. It's worth winning.
Well, I think if you're talking about football now, or if you're talking sport in general, finances are so important, and that nobody can get away from the amount of money that football clubs can earn by staying in the Premier League, and you can turn your club around by being in the Premiership and staying in the Premiership. You can build and put foundations in place that will last a lifetime now. If you set yourself up well enough and you do it properly, and you build gradually over the years, a football club could be transformed, and there has been clubs that have been transformed by you know, spending 3, 4, 5 years in the Premiership.
But shouldn't it be able, as a top professional football club, I'm not pointing the finger at West Brom, making a general...
No, I've always had a go. I've always had a go in the
Should
cup.
we be able to do both things, though?
I've always had a go. I can't speak for whatever managers think and whatever managers don't think. You know, I've always tried to be competitive in all the cup ties. I think you know, it's important that you do that, and it's important that the supporters know that you're doing that. And like I say, you know, we'll be, you know, as strong as we possibly can tomorrow. We're missing Fletcher, he's cup tied, and we've got 1 or 2 little niggles, but we're hoping they'll be okay. But you know, we'll go going out there trying to win a game of football if we can.
But can we expect a few changes? Is that what you're expecting to do?
No, you know, like I say, we'll see what the you know, we've got 1 or 2 niggles, so we'll see what they're like. But you know, I would envisage, you know, playing a very, very strong side tomorrow.
Very good chance that you'll be up against Colton Cole, ironically.
Yeah, well, you know, that's the way it spins at times. So, you know, whether Calton's in the team or not, we'll have to wait and see. Unless you can tell me he is in the team.
I don't think we can tell you for sure, but I think there's a racing decent chance that he...
Well, if Calton plays, Calton plays. So it'll be an interesting... I think it's a great game in respect for 2 clubs who, you know, would like to get to the next round. And Sam, as I've said, Sam will be desperately keen to do it, and he'll know that I'll be desperately keen to do it as well.
I think you mentioned the other day that Jonas Olsson was there or thereabouts.
Yeah, you know, Jonas is getting closer, and we've got you know, we've got to give him as much game time as possible. Again, he's another player that needs, you know, to play, because the next 13 games in the Premiership, you know, we are going to pick up injuries along the way, so we need to get Jonas as fit as we possibly can.
You think he might play this weekend then, in that case? Is that what you're saying?
No, I never said that.
No. Okay, that's great, thank you.
No problems.
Tony, what have you made of Sam's performance this season at West Ham? He came under a little bit of criticism, but they played.
No, I think at the back end of last year, I think that there was a lot of people criticising Sam, but he rode the wave, and you know, he's done a fantastic job there. And again, you know, you have to give the board of directors some credit as well for sticking with Sam, but not only sticking with him by you know they've signed some really good players that have pushed them on, and we know how tough it'll get. You know, that when the draw was made, it was lovely to play at home, but you know, we knew West Ham would be one of the toughest games we could have drawn.
Do you think that will be a big advantage though, if you can get the full crowd in, getting them behind?
Oh, I think they made a difference the other night, without a question of a doubt. I think the atmosphere the other night was the best atmosphere I've witnessed at the Hawthorns, you know, since I've come, and they really, really did step up to the mark and got behind the players. And I think you've seen a performance where you know the players were really at it for 90 minutes. And that's how important crowds are, and that's how important this crowd can be to this football club and to their team. And I really do, you know, appreciate what they did the other night, and I mean that. And we hope we can do the same tomorrow. We can get, you know, a load of people in there or close to a full house, and make it a real, because the West Ham supporters, you know, they're fabulous supporters. They will really get behind their team.
And you've seen what going to an FA Cup final can do to a city, to lift a city.
Oh no, it's a wonderful journey. And you know, I enjoyed it. Everybody in Stoke-on-Trent enjoyed it, and you know, it's not just going to the final; it's going to a semi-final there as well, which is, you know, a wonderful occasion. So, you know, we're 2 games away from it, but we know the next game, you know, against West Ham is going to be very tough.